So that was an Allegretto, number 31 from Giuliani's Op.50. And follow the lesson for free. We'll be talking about a little bit of muting and other aspects of this piece. But if you're interested, I do have an edition of all 32 works in Giuliani's Op.50, and there's a link for that in the description. So this particular piece, a very strong upper melodic line, so practice that on its own. There will be some, missing aspects because it interacts with the bass, but nevertheless, you do want to practice on its own just to make sure that you have it. And then when you add the other voices in, you want to maintain that upper voice, but you're also going to be articulating the bass just a little bit. So I would actually observe a lot of the rests in the bass. Mute. So when you come down on that A in the first measure, mute with your thumb. So you're going to put your thumb back on that string and just mute out the sound. It kind of tightens up the sound and doesn't make everything just ring out. It's kind of a tighter articulation. Then when he leaves that at some of the cadences, it becomes a little bit more dramatic and opens up the piece, even at bar 5 there. So when you listen to the effect of it, mute, 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 and then it all kind of opens up. Then mute, mute. So it kind of tightens up the texture and then opens it up and sustains it at other parts. So I think those rests do work quite well in this particular case. There's a little bit of you have to pay a little bit of close attention to when you're going to close the B and when you're going to keep it open. Because of the figure, the grace notes there, which are played right with the bass note, sometimes you'll want to play it open because it opens into an arpeggio texture, and sometimes you'll want it closed. So at the beginning, I close the B because of the figure. But then open because we're kind of opening into this arpeggio texture. So that's just something you'll want to balance, and I've kind of marked it in my particular edition. So in other editions, you might sometimes not see any fingering, and you want to make sure that you're thinking about when you want it closed and articulated and when you want it to ring out. So not too much else to talk about. We have the muted basses and we have the little grace note figure there and a strong upper line. So let's just do a walkthrough of the piece. It's really easy to mute the bass too soon, like on the 16th note that comes after, but make sure you're actually waiting mute. Mute. Here we have a C chord here. So just a little pivot. So you're going to keep your first finger on that C, pivot into a bar chord, and then out. Kind of the only way to do it with a lot of sustain. Same thing there. Little bit of a bar and then out. So you're just pivoting. Use your second finger so you can sustain the chord. I use my third finger here. Second, that way I end up with 2-1 here. That dyad there can catch you off guard, so just be aware of it. A really curious melodic line here. I quite like it. somewhat straightforward once you have kind of figured out the upper line and you're used to doing the muted bass. The muted bass can take a little bit of time to get consistent. In particular, for me anyway, I always want to mute it a little bit early just because I'm all like, as soon as I play that note, I want to put my thumb back down, but I just have to wait. You have to be a little bit patient and make sure you get a quarter note out of the first bass note. Mute. Only when you actually play the A at the beginning should you put your thumb back on that note. So just be a little bit careful about when you're actually muting the note or if it comes a little bit early or not. Otherwise, kind of a nice, exciting little piece full of some drama and some really nice little chromatic lines at the end there. So I hope you enjoy that one.